Good evening, sir. No, sir, actually, I think you're muted.
Yeah, am I the host? Can I share my screen?
You're the guest. We need to make you presenter, I think.
Yeah,
You are now the presenter. You can share the screen.
yeah, just a second. Yes. So, can we start, or you are going to have any brief introduction or something?
Yes, sir. I have to give an introduction.
Yeah, you can do it, and then I'll continue.
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm Srivardhan Chandrakant Patil from Mathematics and Computing Branch, Part 1. I will be your host this evening. I welcome you all to the second session of Campus to Corporate, organized by Student Counseling Services in collaboration with Umeed Foundation. Umeed Foundation, the Agents of Hope, is an NGO founded by the alumni of IIT BHU and MNIT Allahabad with an aim to serve the youth community. The organization works towards empowering youth with values to overcome self-destructive practices like addiction and facilitating their overall personality development by helping them in their egoistic, emotional, intellectual, and psychological as well as physical needs. Undoubtedly, it is a life app. Yesterday's session was a grand success with Avatar Leela sir as the guest of honor, guiding 150 plus participants. He shared his valuable thoughts, which will definitely ease this process of transition. Along with the advantages of our generation, we have some limitations also. So rightly threw light on the strategies to push those limitations to give you 100% and emerge successful in corporate world as well. His advice has surely kicked a spark of motivation amongst us. Friends, life is a journey, not a destination. So this period of campus life bound to end, which eventually assures you to a corporate life. Changes are bound to occur and challenges are bound to follow them. To address them and to guide you through this new phase of life, let's initiate the second session of Campus to Corporate. I hereby invite Mr. Neeraj, the co-convener of Student Counseling Services, to introduce today's guest of honor, Mr. Sandeep Kumar, and carry out the further proceedings.
A very good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very more than honored to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Sandeep. Uh, he's just give me a moment. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Neeraj, the current convener of Student Counseling Services. I have recently graduated from IIT BHU with a dual degree in Computer Science Engineering. I am more than honored to introduce today's speaker. He has been, he's an alumnus of NIT Trichy, and post that he has bagged A44 in GATE, with which he did his master's in IIT BHU. He has been a guiding light for hundreds of students across nation, and also he guided many students and corporates to live a life of balance and purpose. Personally, I am more than fortunate to have him as a mentor and guide and as a friend for last 5 years since I got acquainted with him in my freshman year. and right now he's he's serving as the chairperson of Umeed Foundation, as well as besides his profession, which he's working as a faculty in certain coaching institutes like Time and CATG. So something that would be of interest for all of us is this Umeed Foundation. This is no less than a very phenomenal establishment during the unprecedented times of COVID. 1 year ago, when everything got shut down and people started moving to work from their homes, Mr. Sandeep, along with his mentee students who are now into corporates in across various companies, have come up with a idea to establish this Umeed Foundation, under which they started with providing food and basic necessities for uh, various people who are deprived of their jobs, day jobs. Starting with this, they have gone over to do a lot more work over the last 1 year, out of which the biggest contributions to the society would be the youth welfare workshops they have conducted, and the women empowerment work they have been doing in the rural areas of Uttar Pradesh. Besides this, they have also taken up various initiatives like helping the specially able students in Bangalore and the urban areas of Karnataka, with partnering with a NGO named Anubhuti. I would like to share the initiatives of Umeed in a couple of minutes. Can we have the presentation? All right. Sorry, I couldn't present right now the slides in which I wanted to share about the initiatives of Umeed. With this, I invite today's guest, Mr. Sandeep, to take over, and I hope all of you would have a great session today. Thank you.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you very much. It has always been a great pleasure to speak to students from these colleges, and especially collaborate with SCS and give presentations on these topics, like helping students to uh, who are graduating from the college and moving into corporate world. Before beginning, can you just tell me if I am audible clearly and visible?
Yes, sir. You are clearly visible and audible.
Okay, fine. So regarding Umeed, if you want, at the end of the session, if you want, you can show the PPT if there is some time. I'll
Sure.
begin with today's session. So yesterday you all had a great session with Avatar Leela sir. So today I thought, let me discuss more in detail about few of the life apps. So before beginning, I would like to acknowledge that the presentation which I have made for today is based on this book, Be the Smarter You, by one of my seniors, who is an alumnus of IIT Bombay, Rasik Ramandas. So I have taken the concepts from these books, this book specially, and tried to rephrase it in my own words and presented it. In fact, those who will successfully complete this course, we also have had a thought to share this book as a gift for all of you for your upcoming corporate life. It will really help all of you. Okay. So when the 50 years before, like when this kind of telephones were there, so the telephone was tied to wires and we humans were very free. But today, the phones are free and humans have got tied to the mobiles. So much so that even expert drivers of Ola and Ubers, they also move only through the use of the GPS and Google Maps to go from one place to another. Earlier, when there was natural intelligence, then all of us used to remember so much. The entire map of the city was there in our mind. But today, we have so much of artificial intelligence, but somehow the natural intelligence has decreased. We see, as they say in corporates, plastic smiles and cardboard faces. Life in today's generation has become quite superficial in its appearance. Like the way it appears, it is as if it promises a lot. You see the waiter serving so eagerly, please sir, come sit down, and the receptionist so eagerly answering us, and the air hostess so politely requesting us to take our seat. But we know that beyond their politeness and their smiles, there is all a motivation to simply earn money. They're not doing it out of great love and respect and care. So that's why there are very beautiful sayings. So I heard that this so today beauty has become skin deep, and our emotions have become smiley deep. Any emotions, tears and smile and frown, we simply put a smiley. Today, uh, the knowledge has become finger deep. Whatever knowledge you want, simply Google it and try to find it out. Experience has become selfie deep. I see people anywhere they go, the way they experience that place is simply by taking a selfie. But earlier, when these mobiles and smartphones were not there, we had much more freedom, we had much more experience, much more richer interactions with each other. Today, we may have a friend in Netherlands, but not even a friend in our neighborhood. So I saw this picture, digital upvas. So earlier there is this concept of upavas which our mothers and our sisters might have done, like we might have seen them doing. But the modern age surely needs something called as digital upvas. We need to fast from these because all these have their own advantages, but from the phase of we controlling these, we have moved into a phase where they are controlling us, where the gadgets are controlling us. So it is very important to answer this question in this world of smart televisions, smart mobiles, smart cars, smart mobiles, smartphones, smart watches. Are we making humans smarter? Where are smart humans? Where are smart people? So the book also beautifully gives this concept of how smartphones are made up of smart apps. So smart people must also be made up of smart life apps. So this life apps or life skills is the gap between what we are and what we want to be. And that's why we are going to discuss in next half an hour on this beautiful theme of life apps. So today I'm going to share with all of you 4 apps. In tomorrow's session, I would like to share another 4 apps. So in total, I'll be sharing 8 apps. So today we will discuss 4 of them, and tomorrow we will discuss 4 of them. The first app is called the Life Compass app. So this app helps us to navigate the maze of success and satisfaction. We see in world there are very successful individuals, and some of them, like I have put some here, J.K. Rowling's, Michael Jordan, Walt Disney. You see in their life they struggled a lot. J.K. Rowling's the famous author of the Harry Potter series. She was rejected so many times. Nobody was accepting her script. And people said, this script, nobody is going to read it. But we later know how famous the Harry Potter series became. And she became richer than the Queen of England. This was J.K. Rowling's. Michael Jordan, he was rejected from to get a place in the school basketball team, and later he went to become the greatest basketball player ever. And even Walt Disney, he faced so many challenges, and he was removed from his job, fired from his job, people saying him that you don't have a good imagination sense. And we know he created the Walt Disney. But I have a question for all of you. Is success all in all? You know what is this picture? This picture is Edgewater Beach Hotel in Chicago. You may wonder, why am I talking about this hotel of Chicago? Because Forbes, in one of its blogs, had mentioned about this hotel. In 1923, in this hotel, there were 7 world's most successful financiers and the most richest men of the world attending a meeting. I want to just tell all of you what happened to those 7 people after 25 years. First, let me tell you who those 7 guys were. One of them was the president of the largest independent steel company, Charles Schwab. Another was the president of the greatest utility company, Samuel Insull. Another was the president of New York Stock Exchange, Richard Whitney. Another was a member of president's cabinet, Albert Fall. Another was the great bear on Wall Street, and another was the head of the greatest monopoly, Ivan Krujert. We may not have heard these names because they were in the early 90s. All these 7 guys, after 25 years, the history says 3 out of them committed suicide. One of them went bankrupt, and the last 5 years he was living on by borrowing money, and finally he died. And one of them got implicated in a criminal case, and one of them got implicated in a case of corruption and went into jail. All these guys, they had mastered the art of success in making a living, but apparently all of them struggled with learning how to live successfully. They all knew how to make a living, but how to live is not something that obvious. For that, we need these life apps. So they had forgot to live. So people focus a lot on public victory. That what do the world see me? How does the world count me? But our scriptures and the wisdom literatures, they say that public victory is okay, cool, good, but there is something much more than public victory, which is private victory. That is, how do we see ourselves? If we become a failure in our own eyes, then we can never ever get up. So there comes handy this Life GPS or Life Compass app. This has got 2 axes, the east-west axis and the north-south axis. The east-west axis is the satisfaction axis, and the north-south axis is the success axis. So success is about public victory, and satisfaction is about private victory, inner fulfillment, and success is about external achievements. Many a times, just like our position depends on X and Y coordinates. Similarly, the Life GPS tells us that you need to actually balance these 2 coordinates to actually live a very happy life. Otherwise, simply focusing on one of the axes we may end up in a big trouble. You can see this analogy of a car. Just like there are wheels in a car and there is fuel in a car. So the fuel tank represents the satisfaction and the wheels represent success. So wheels are visible to everyone. Wheels have kinetic energy. Wheels are moving, but the fuel is not moving, and the fuel is inside and the fuel is the motivation, and the fuel has potential energy. But the fuel and the wheels together act complementary to each other and serve the purpose of reaching a destination. So just like in a car, without fuel, there is no use of having wheels. It will all become a pushing exercise without fuel. And similarly, without movement, there is no use of fuel. So Roosevelt, the former American president, he said that the best prize that life has to offer is a chance to work hard at work worth doing. So many people think that it's just about my endeavor and success, but it's also job satisfaction, which is a very important component even in our corporate life. You see, in the Mahabharata, there are these two personalities. One is Arjuna and another is Duryodhana. Both of them were fighting the war, the battle of Kurukshetra. But one of them was fighting for the right cause, dharma, and the other was fighting for adharma. So even if the war had a different consequence, and let's imagine that Kauravas won the battle, but even if Kauravas had won the battle, still the real winners would be Pandavas because they fought for the right cause. So this is beautifully summarized in this shloka in the Gita, where Krishna says that when you fight for the right cause with the right spirit, then you are assured of success and satisfaction both. So this life compass shall show us the right direction and point us towards the right decisions in life by helping us calibrate to a selfless cause and spirited endeavor. Just like for Arjuna, he needed Krishna as a guide. So if the greatest archer of the entire world, the most competent personality of his time, Arjuna needed a guide. So life compass in all of our lives are the wisdom literatures and the spiritual guides who can actually tell us that real satisfaction will come by a balance between both the axes. So let's move into the second app, which is the discipline and balance app. So it is said that the ingredients of talent are cooked through a recipe, of strategy into a beautiful meal of success. But there is something very important which is required to convert the ingredient of talent into the recipe of success. What is that? That is the fire of discipline. Without the fire of discipline, the ingredients will never be cooked into something delicious. So discipline is what I want most over what I want now. What I want now is short-term pleasure, and discipline is what I want most. If I want something so much, then I am ready to forego the temporary pleasures of this world. So the bridge of discipline is that bridge which connects dreams to reality. If we don't have this bridge of discipline, the dreams will never get converted into reality. Discipline is about choosing what I want most over what I want now. There was a study by Statistical Brain Institute, and they analyzed New Year resolutions. So 1st January is famous for New Year resolution, taking resolution, and 2nd January is famous for breaking resolution. So this study found out that just 8% of people achieve their New Year goals, while a resounding 92% end up failing. And the cause is very simple: discipline. So yoga has certain limbs, and the first step of attaining perfection in yoga, explained by Patanjali, is discipline. Just a second. Sometimes people think that discipline is a choice. Discipline involves lot of pain. But truly speaking, discipline is a choice between two pains. One is the pain of discipline, pain of getting disciplined, and another is the pain of regret. But the pain of discipline is a short-term pain for a long-term happiness and success. And pain of regret initially may not be painful, but it's a pain which burdens us forever. So holistic discipline is dependent on how do we balance all aspects of life. And this cycle is a very beautiful example of how do we balance. You see, the most important part of the cycle on which we focus the most is the steering. And the steering is the mission statement or the purpose. Where are we heading towards? Then we have the front wheel. The front wheel is professional life, which is the success, which is the contribution. What am I doing? So that is the front wheel. But along with the front wheel, we also need to balance the rear wheel, which is our personal life, our connections, our relatives, and all that. And both these wheels need servicing. Both the front wheel and the rear wheel need servicing. What is servicing? Servicing for professional life is skill development, equipping ourselves with better skills, and servicing of the rear wheel is spiritual development and getting in touch with wisdom literatures and knowing the values of life. These are important connections for our personal life, for connecting to our inner self. So that is spiritual development. But there is this paddling, because if you have ever seen riding a bicycle, if you don't ride a bicycle and keep it still, you sit still on it, you will tend to fall. In fact, movement leads to balance. So paddling is also very important. We need to keep going ahead. So this paddling and keeping on going ahead also represents that balance is not something which happens overnight. Balance is something which needs a regulated practice. Balance is something which comes over the years with practice. So practice is also a very important and essential component of discipline and striking balance. And this is very beautifully discussed in the Gita, because I'm a great fan of Bhagavad Gita, and I have been giving lot of seminars on the Gita. And to tell you very honestly, my dear friends, Gita has got such beautiful pearls of wisdom to reveal such insights to us, which can help all facets of our life, may it be professional, personal, spiritual, emotional, or relationships, team building, even our body, our health regulation, everything. This shloka is a very beautiful shloka. If you all uh, are okay, then I would like to recite this shloka. Yuktahara viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu yuktasvapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. The shloka says that all of us need to understand the power of schedule by having regulated eating, regulated sleeping, regulated recreation, and regulated work. It means we cannot carry our work to home and carry our home to work. We need to compartmentalize it. When we are working at office, then we need to do it professionally, and there is a time for that. We need to come back to home, and there is a time for that, because otherwise our personal life will suffer. So this is a very important aspect of balance and discipline. So let me move to the third app for today, which is the self discovery app. This is a very beautiful concept. Generally, people in this world, as I was telling, they have their professional roles, they have their personal roles. So there is a concept called as uh, hat identity. Like you keep various hats. This hat identity means, okay, when you are in office, you wear the hat of a office man, of a professional. When you are at home, you wear the hat of a home personal family member. And when you go out with your friends, then you wear a different hat. And when you are with yourself, then you are on a different hat. When you watch a laptop or a movie or a smartphone, then you wear a different hat. But there are some problems with this hat identity. Number one, the real person who is hiding behind those hats, it becomes difficult to identify him. And also, when these hats start flying, when storms come in our life, then we become so obsessed with holding that hat and thinking that, come on, how can I lose my job, or how can I have issues in my family life, because that was the hat I was identifying with. So that is why the wisdom literatures speak of various levels of identities. So one level is having, another level is doing, and another level is being. Let me explain these three identities, and it's a very beautiful concept because all of us can become very stable in all of our lives and face reversals with great courage if we can come to the level of being. So having means what we have, doing means what we do, and being means what we are. Who am I? In the Gita also this beautiful concept is given. This app, so all these apps, if you see, are nothing but the modern relevant presentation of the concepts which are there in our own wisdom literature, the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says there are external identities which are like this dress, but this dress is not exactly you. So there is much more than this dress to yourself. So let's unearth our true identity. So having means, how do I look? What do I possess? What position have I reached? How do people look me? Do I have good public profile? Or how is my Facebook and my profile on my LinkedIn and Insta, all that look? And who all people I know and what all places I visit? All this is having. So if we find our happiness from how do I look and what do I possess and what position have I reached, then our happiness is going to be very, very short-lived, temporary and superfluous. But little more deeper than that is, what am I doing? What's my profession? What's my skill set? Am I engaged in something philanthropic? What is my hobby? What is my general routine? So all this comes in doing. What do I do? But the most deepest level of our identity is, who am I? Who am I is not just based on what I do, but who I actually believe in. Who, like, what's the value which I stand for? What are the principles in life which I stand for? What is the philosophy of life I have? So that's why this being is very important. Most people live life backwards. Living life backwards means living life backwards means first they try to grab a lot and get a lot and have a lot, and then after they get a lot, then they think that let me now engage it in doing something, and after they do something, by doing something they try to create an identity for themselves. But the true way of philosophy of life, a way of living life, is to live life forward. If we know who we actually are, then we can be that, and then we can think of doing things related to that identity. And then we can think of getting those things necessary for doing that, for fulfilling that identity. Like, I'll give you a very simple example. we all need to look for a sense of fulfillment and purpose in our life. Like a doctor at the level of having can think, oh, by my profession of medical profession, I can earn so much money and I can have so much contacts. But at the level of doing, he can think that, okay, I am involved in a profession of doctorship and I'm expert surgeon, I'm expert at this and I'm expert at that. But at a level of being, he can identify with the principle of healing and wellness. He can see himself transforming lives, giving people newer lives. An army man can identify with the principle of protection. A policeman can identify at the level of being with the principle of justice. A teacher can identify with the principle of giving knowledge. A businessman can identify with the principle of creating prosperity. So this is what is the meaning uh, of coming to the stage of being. And the last app which I will discuss for today is the Mind Power app. So mind, this word mind has got a lot of connotations. I have made up my mind. It's just slipping out of my mind. I was in two minds. Mind your own business. Never mind. And I was absent minded today. What this mind actually is, nobody has understood it so well. But interestingly, our wisdom literatures have given a lot of information. For most people, this mind is a UFO. It's like unidentified flying objects because the mind is always hopping from one thought to another thought. It's invisible, but it keeps flying. But there is proof that mind exists. What is the proof? All of us would have experienced self-talk. We talk to ourselves, come on, man, this is possible. I'll be able to do this. Sometimes when we are sitting to do something, we are distracted through smartphones or through some advertisements or through some friend coming or something from the mind coming and telling, hey man, what's the score going on in IPL? And sometimes the mind puts us in dilemmas. Sometimes the mind creates intense desires for something. And even when we are sleeping, the mind is not sleeping. And that's why we get dreams. So this is a beautiful research at Cambridge. I'll read what it says. According to a research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and the last letter be in the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. This is the phenomenal power of the human mind. And it is the human mind which has caused people to commit suicides. You will be amazed to hear the statistics that 1 million people in world commit suicide every year. It means one person every 40 seconds. And it is the second leading cause of death in the age group of 15 to 29 years old. It means by the time we began this presentation, we have almost like 50, more than 40, 50 people died till now by committing suicide in the world. So this nature of mind is beautifully explained in the Gita. The mind is mighty like an elephant. It's unstoppable. The mind behaves like an intoxicated madman. The mind is like a monkey who keeps hopping from one branch of tree to another. The mind hops from one thought to another. It is chanchal. And the mind is stubborn and disobedient. It never hears. If you say the mind do this, it will exactly want to do the opposite. So the mind is disobedient. And the mind works in an auto suggestion mode. Just like in Google, if I write San F and you immediately get so many suggestions of San Francisco. How does this happen? Because we have searched for San Francisco so many times. So Google gives that as the auto suggestion. The mind also works as this. Suppose I write B. and I have watched a lot of Bollywood movies, then immediately the suggestion will come Bollywood.com. Now, if I have always been reading Bhagavad Gita on internet, then if I write B, then immediately what comes is bhagavadgita.com. What it represents is that what we do again and again, our mind makes it as the auto suggest. So how to make good habits as auto suggest, that we will see tomorrow. In the Gita, this beautiful example of mind as the ropes to control the horses is given. So similarly for all of us, the mind is that which controls the senses. But the mind has to be controlled by the intelligence. So first let me briefly tell you about this remote control of mind, how the mind controls our life. So just like the remote control has lot of buttons, so the mind also presses lot of buttons. So the remote control has a press and pause button. Sometimes the mind presses the pause button. As soon as it presses the pause button, then all the people who are currently hearing the seminar go on pause. If your mind presses the pause button, everything stops for you. You are there, but you are not there. That's why it is said you are where your mind is. Suppose sometimes the mind presses the rewind button. Rewind button means it takes you to the past. Oh, why did I do like this? I should have spoken this in my interview and I would have got selected in that company, and I missed that opportunity because I just could not code the right thing at the right time. And it puts everything in a slow motion in the rewind. And sometimes the mind puts us in the forward button, fast forward button, takes us to a illusory dreamy world. Okay, now I'll be joining this company and I'm going there and this is going to happen and that is going to happen, and so many imaginations. Sometimes the mind may press the contrast button. We start comparing each other. Oh, why am I not so beautiful? Why I don't have that company? Why I don't have this much money? So the mind has lot of buttons. So it's very, very important to not allow the mind to remote control us. Instead, we have to remote control the mind. So how do we harness the power of mind, or how do we control the mind? In the Gita, there is a beautiful shloka in the 6th chapter where Krishna says, for the mind which is controlled, it is the best friend. And for the mind which is uncontrolled, it is the worst enemy. So how do we control the mind? By first and foremost understanding that the mind which is dictating me is different from me. Most of the time when the mind gives a suggestion, immediately we start thinking that this is me who wants it. This is my desire. Like suppose someone spoke harshly to us, some harsh word, some strong word someone spoke. Immediately I feel like beating him. I feel like beating him. But actually what we should say is, my mind says that it wants to beat him. It is my mind's thoughts. It is my mind's desire. As soon as we want to open Netflix or simply waste time watching some useless movies, we need to identify that this is not me. This is the mind which is telling that it wants to watch it. So that is how we need to watch the mind as a person different from us. Just imagine, friends, if I ask you how many of you are going to hear the advice of an enemy. Are you ever going to take the advice of an enemy seriously? But do you know what Krishna says? Krishna says that the mind is the worst enemy for all of us, and we take the words of the worst enemy the most seriously. And that's why we end up many times getting controlled by the mind. So disciplining mind with steady practice, abhyasa, is very important. And also the mind has to be controlled by the intelligence. So what nourishes the intelligence is reading scriptures. Like the mind goes by likes and dislikes. Oh, I like this, I don't like this. Oh, mango, I like it. Karela, I don't like it. But the intelligence says, Whether you like it or you don't like it, this is good, this is bad, this is correct, this is wrong. So intelligence is the rational factor and mind is the emotional factor. So all of us, if we want to control the mind, we need to control the emotional mind with the rational intelligence. And that rationale, or that is called in Sanskrit, it is called Viveka Shakti. This Viveka Shakti is endowed to all of us when we read scriptures. So if intelligence is stronger, then intelligence will win and we can resist temptations. So meditation can help us a lot. When we do meditation, we actually start saying no to the mind. The mind says, don't sit at one place. And we say, no, I will sit. Don't chant some mantra, because if you chant a mantra, then you are going to control me. But we say no. Mantra, the word mantra means that which delivers the mind. Mana means mind and tra means deliver. Mantra means the medicine for the mind. And that's why the mind resists to a mantra. And if we want to get up early in morning, the mind says, oh, you see, there is the snooze button. Why don't you press it? And we start pressing it. And we keep pressing it. And after 8 o'clock, the mind takes a opposite role and says, you fool, you have been pressing the snooze button for such a long time. I kept the alarm at 5 o'clock and it is now 8 o'clock. So mind can actually play double roles, double standards. It will encourage us to go for the temptation, and after we fall for the temptation, it will say we are the worst creature in the universe. So mantra can actually control our mind. So in fact, I have been chanting mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, from the last 10 years. So I just thought I'll share this mantra with all of you. You can choose any mantra, but this is called the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you all very much. So I shared with all of you today 4 very important apps. The first app which I shared was the Life Compass app. The second app which I shared was the Discipline and Balance app. The third app was the Self Discovery app, and the fourth app was the Mind Power app. Yeah, if any one of you have any questions, then I can take quick questions. Maybe for 2-3 minutes. If any one of you have any questions, then I can take it. Yes.
Those who have any questions, please type it either in the chat box or you can unmute and ask.
Okay. If there are questions, then I can take. Otherwise, we can go ahead with the presentation. I think you are going to show the presentation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you
okay,
can.
sir. Since there are no questions, we proceed further.
Okay,
I
think
request
some questions are there. Okay. How to handle worries? There is a very simple concept. This is by Alok. There is a very simple concept. I'm going to share these things in tomorrow's presentation, where I'll be discussing about how to deal with stress, and I'll talk about stress. I'll talk about time management, and I'll talk about these things. But I'll tell you in brief. It is very simple. Worries can be handled by focusing on the circle of influence, then rather than the circle of concern. The moment we start focusing on the circle of concern, then we have a lot of worries, because there are so many things which are of concern. Oh, there is COVID all around, and there is the government is not doing much, and I don't know why the companies are not coming for placements. So there may be so many things which are not in our influence, but we may have concern for. But if we want to handle worries, then we need to focus on the circle of influence. Where can I make a difference? Ask that question. Okay. Yeah. Another question is, we are living in Kali Yuga, so corporate world may be different from these apps. How do we fare these apps? No, these apps are perfectly applicable for even in your corporate life, because you all need to understand one thing, that you're not going to make your identity as nothing but an employee. If you are going to make your identity 24/7 of nothing but you are an employee of so and so company, that is your only identity, or that is your primary identity, then my dear friends, you are going to end up in trouble, because your companies will change and there will be ups and downs in company life. And also that's only what you do. But as I already discussed, we also have to work upon what I stand for. Better focus on how do you contribute through that, through your work. So how does it make a difference? How does it leave a mark in the world? If you focus on these questions, then you can do much better. Okay. Okay, some of you are asking to suggest some meditation techniques to control our mind. That's why I thought not to keep it vague and tell all of you the mantra which I chant personally. So you can also choose this mantra or some other mantra. This mantra has worked for me a lot. And in fact, every day morning at 7 a.m., I take for some 50-60 students a small mantra meditation kind of session. If any one of you is interested, you can write in the feedback and we can connect you with that. Good morning, Krishna. I call it Good Morning, Krishna. We come together for this meditation. Okay. Yeah, sure. You attend the sessions and we'll try to give you also. Okay. And fine. I think you can go ahead with the presentation.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir, for very valuable words of advice. Thank you very much. Now I request Mr. Ankit Jaiswal to please do the presentation to get to know about more about Umeed Foundation.
Thanks, Srivardhan. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful talk. So
Thank
I will just start sharing my screen. So just give me, a minute or so. I am sharing my screen. I hope my voice is, clear to everyone, right?
Yeah, it's clear.
Can you be
Okay,
little
okay.
louder?
Just let me share my screen. Hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Just.
You are audible.
Mhm.
If you can be little louder.
Hello. Is it
Yeah,
okay, sir, now?
it is much better.
Because I am
Good.
speaking, like loud enough only, but I don't know if it is.
No, now it's fine. You
Hello.
can go ahead.
Just a second. I hope the my presentation is visible, right? Srivardhan, could you just let me know if
It's
my slides
loading.
are visible
It's
or not?
loading now, but the screen is appearing black, but not yet fully presented.
Okay, okay, I see. Maybe because of, I guess, poor bandwidth on my side. So just let me know once you start to, see the presentation. And if other have started to,
Now it got,
yeah.
now it is visible.
Okay, okay. Uh, so I will be just giving you all a brief glimpse into the various initiatives which Umeed has taken for the benefits of youth and even the for the society. So let me go into the so as you must have got to know from Srivardhan that Umeed Foundation is an NGO which works which specifically works towards the betterment of youth. So if we look at the vision with which Umeed works, it's basically they want to help youth to become stress free, addiction free, with having high competence and wellness. So that is their mission, and that is their vision, and the mission is in fact to educate and inspire the student community to avoid and overcome addiction within the culture of care and love. So this is the team of Umeed Foundation. This is the four members, and the other four members you can see on this slide. And let's now have a look at the activities which Umeed has taken. So first one, you can see this is regarding the skill development. So these are the various initiatives which has been taken in the past by the Umeed Foundation. So this one is industry oriented training boot camp, then inter college edu fiesta, so then winter training boot camp. So you can have look at the photos from the winter training boot camp. Then this was summer training, which was on AutoCAD and MATLAB, which is quite relevant industrial software tools nowadays. Then Umeed has also given. They have also incubated startups, and they have conducted various sessions on entrepreneurship and other things. So you can have look at one of the posters of the webinar which was conducted, and you can have a look at the the mentors and the speakers who were there in that webinar. So this is the screenshot from the webinar, and then there was this principle-centered leadership. So keeping in mind that to help people to gain the skill of leadership. So this was what the motto of this session was. Then there was this remaining focused in the times of anxiety. So we all know that during the last 1 year we have been quite affected by the pandemic, and that has also taken a toll on our mental health and well-being. So that was one such session which was conducted last year. So in order to help you remain focused and in such times of anxiety. Then our third initiative, is the youth welfare centers. So it is one of the promising initiatives taken by Umeed. So this is basically Umeed is trying to develop, and build welfare centers where they can provide free food, education, and career opportunities to the youths. So this is the basic, outline of the welfare centers, and what will be the key features of this project. So firstly, there is this open, kitchens, and then there is this classrooms, then there will be meditation halls, then there will be conference rooms, and so this is the structure of the project, and you can have a look at the slide. And this is the construction. You can see it is being constructed, the youth welfare center, and one is already there in MNIT. Then this is the community kitchen and hall at a BHU, and they also provide you scholarships. So that is one great initiative by them. So you can have a look at the scholarships that were presented to the students last year and the youth. Then they also have taken initiative on bettering the mental health of youth. So they have organized a number of activities and webinars to help people with uh, dealing dealing with their mental health problems and acquiring a better state, a mental health state. So these are this was one of the events, Life's Amazing Secrets, and you can have a look at the speakers who took those webinars. So Subha Vilas is one of is an author and a life coach, and you already had a great session yesterday by Avtar Leela sir, and there was Vishal Kausal sir as well. Then they also try to give importance. I mean, to in for the spiritual wellness of the people. So they have taken quite a good number of initiatives for the people. So this was one session, which was is youth meant for enjoyment or enlightenment. So it was taken by Radheshyam Das sir and the other speakers, and it is the screenshot from that webinar. And they have also conducted online meditation sessions, which we will be looking at in the further slides. Anti-addiction workshops as well. So this is the photo from one such session, and there was their mantra meditation classes as well. So you can see people chanting mantras in groups. So academic mentorship as well. So if you need mentorship, if you need academic mentorship, so Umeed also works towards that, and you can have a look at the list of the people uh, uh, who have who are there as mentors, and who try to give you one-to-one mentorship with any academic related your doubts or queries or anything. So this is there. Then one-to-one counseling, as I already told you about that, you get sessions. So you can see people discussing about their doubts to the mentors, and there are activities around physical wellness as well. So you can see people doing yoga in the morning, and this was one such one such session which was conducted, Yoga for Life. Actually, was I audible to the people? I guess I got disconnected.
No, you were not audible.
So I am very sorry. It's because of the poor bandwidth on my side. So
It was
which
just
slide
for
I was,
20
was
seconds.
last visible?
You were audible till yoga for me, so you can go ahead.
Hello. I can go ahead, right? So I will just go ahead. So then this is value education. So imparting value education to youth, it's also quite relevant in modern times. So this was a Parivartan which was organized. So then there we also care for the specially abled people. So you can see we have this Anubhuti Center for deaf people. So where we organize interactive sessions, like magic shows and career advice, then ice breaking sessions, etc. And you can have a glimpse at the photo. Then we also have, taken steps for empowering women. So you can see these things, and we also, have provided cycles to, girls from village areas. Then for COVID relief as well, we have tried to distribute meals to people, I mean, from the marginalized communities, and we have provided on-demand meal food distribution, almost 250 meals a day, and we have distributed sanitary kits around worth 20 lakh rupees to people. Then rural outreach is also there. So we have, when we have gone to village areas and we have tried to, uh, uh, we have tried to skill, people there, and we have tried to, help people develop, cottage industries for themselves. So that is it. So this was the initiatives, the various initiatives Umeed has taken for the welfare of people and youth. So that was it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ankit, for giving a more clear gist about what exactly Umeed Foundation does and all the work it has done till date. Sir, there is a question in the chat box that how can we connect you?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I hope all of you are there on the WhatsApp group of Campus to Corporate. So we will put it on that for further events, and also we will join you in our group for meditation and other things also. Okay. So I'll give all information on that group. So I would request all students to remain connected on the WhatsApp group which we had, Campus to Corporate. Okay, Rupesh? Yeah, thank you. So thanks a lot for organizing it. Hope that the students had some valuable things to take ahead for their own lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of all the audience and the student counseling services, I extend you a sincere thanks for such an outstanding session. When we move ahead in life, it is not always that your talent and skills matter, but your appropriate perspective to life does. Thank you for helping us develop that. And also, as smartphones need smart apps, in the same way, a smart person needs smart life apps to be developed. That was very rightly quoted by you, sir. Thank you very much for giving the importance of job satisfaction, discipline, having balance in life, mind control, and many more things which I could not even sum up now. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, and also thank you
Thank
for telling the importance about the Hare Krishna mantra, because frankly speaking, as you are reciting this mantra, we can see a very pleasant and optimistic smile on your face all the time, which gives a very positive vibes from you, sir. Uh, Thank you for joining with us today. We are very eagerly waiting for the next 4 life apps, which will be told by you in the next session. Your sessions has always been pearls of great price with innumerable things to grasp from them. I hope that the audience also has very beneficial takeaways from the session. Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us with these words of advice. I would also like to thank the audience for taking out the time to attend the session. Now, I urge the audience to please attend the next session as well, because as it is the last year of yours in IIT BHU, SCS has planned very special things for you. We'll be having Mr. Anurag Pandey, a senior software manager from Microsoft, to be talking with you, which is very regretful to miss. Also, another special event that will be adding, and that will the student counseling services will be launching a new volunteering program. So to know about it, please do join the session. This is also very regretful to miss. So I hope everyone have enjoyed this session, and if no one has if anyone has anything else to say, please say, or otherwise we can wrap up the session.
Anyhow, yeah.
I'll take a leave.
Ranjit Bhaiya can say. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Leave again.